I am here today with Giuliana Amaral. Giuliana is the singer and bassist for Band Incorporated. That's Band Inc. for short. Band Inc. has opened shows for everyone from Alice Cooper and Buckcherry to Grace Potter and Dave Matthews. It's a pretty diverse group of bands there. Giuliana has won several awards, including Female Vocalist of the Year by Limelight magazine and Best Young Artist of the Year by the New England Music Hall of Fame. Giuliana and Band Incorporated have just released a new single called Midnite Rider. And Giuliana, I gotta tell you, I put on this song and, I started doing something and I'm listening to this. I get a bunch of stuff that hits my desk. I put this thing on and it had to play, 100 times and I never stopped it. I just did my thing and I was still, I couldn't wait for it to start up again after for 101. It's such a great tune.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it. Thank you.
Yeah, it is awesome. Now, the first thing, though, I'm listening to this and I'm like, God, this is good. And, then I'm thinking, it's one song. It's like torture. You got more for me, right?
We actually got some good news and we're hitting the studio very, very soon. The next thing we're gonna do is an EP. So we got more songs. It'll be more than one.
All right, that's great. That's really good news. That song will last a while though. It stands the test of time. For sure.
Well, thank you. You just made my whole day saying that.
It's so true. And I still, now I put it on and after all those, it's on repeat, and it's a short rock and roll song. It's not a real long progressive piece or anything. It's short, simple, straight to the point, AC/DC type of stuff. And it just rocks. It's over and over and over. It does. So yeah, looking really forward to more music. Yeah, I see the name, Giuliana Lucia Amaral. You're out of Boston. That's not your typical Boston, Massachusetts name, is it? What is your ancestry like and your family growing up and how did you get into music?
Absolutely. So I come from a small Portuguese and Italian family. It's just my mom and my grandparents. I was raised by them. To me, my biggest hero is probably my grandpa. So a little bit about him. Before he came to the US, he was actually a bass player for a Beatles tribute band with his brothers. They used to travel all over Europe, France, wow. They go to Germany, they go everywhere. And then my grandpa, around like the late 80s, he was like, I kind of don't want to do it anymore. And then he moved my family here to Massachusetts. He started, his own business fixing cars and he's a mechanic. And he never did music ever again. But wow. He kept P bass with him. A PV bass is like an old bass. And he always kept it with him. When I was born, around when I was 5, my mom was like, you know what? I always wanted to play piano and I think you would like it. So I'm going to sign you up for some piano classes. And it's so funny because I actually hated it. I did not like it. I thought it was so boring. But my mom, she was persistent. She was like, no, that's how I thought of it also. Like, you're going to just keep doing it. I'm sure you'll like it. And she was right. I did it for many years. Until the age of like 12, 13-ish. That was when I was playing piano. And one day I was talking with my grandpa and he was like, do you really like, just playing classical music? Do you really like it? And that really had me thinking. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It's not as fun as it used to be. So he was like, I still got my PV bass if you want to give it a try. And I sat down with that thing and I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, awesome. This is so much cooler. He was like, you know what, if you like it, I'll take you to weekly bass lessons. And he did. He would take me. I would sit there for an hour. I'd learn all the stuff. And that was when it started. I started learning all these rock songs and everything. And at age 16, I started Band Inc. It's still the same name. Yep. It's so funny because, I just put it together, and one, we were playing out, and people would call me like, "Oh, I want to book the band. What's the band name?" And we didn't have a name, and I was like, "Oh, Band Ink!" Like it was the first thing that came to mind, and it stuck. And like now, that's everyone always calls Band Ink. I'm like, all right, now it's got to stay that way. And now
Yeah,
I've grown to like it. It's easy to remember. It's simple.
definitely.
It's yeah, definitely. We started out playing covers, at venues nearby. And we've been very fortunate to have it been picked up. Now all we do is originals. I've been writing a lot. We've all been getting all the music together, which has been a dream of mine for so long, to get my own music out there, because all bands, we all start out with covers, but my goal was always to tell everyone what it is that I want to say as a rock musician. So
Right.
and we've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's just so good to see. And you guys are a three-piece, right?
Three-piece. Sometimes we do the four-piece, like when we just had a homecoming show. We came back from California, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna invite my buddy to play guitar. So we did do the four-piece, like, because
Right.
it was a big party. But most of the time it's the three-piece, yeah.
Yeah, that's great too, and I love that power trio thing. It's really cool. Now,
Thank you.
you are a student at Berkeley.
Yes, I am. So
Um,
I am.
that's Berkeley. I mean, when you attach the Berkeley name, people pay attention. It's such
Oh,
a great school, and yeah, tell me about how you landed there, and have you always thought of Berkeley growing up, going there?
absolutely. So I've always loved school. I know not a lot of people agree. I've always just, it's, part of, yeah, growing up, I always liked going to school. And I learned about Juilliard, actually. And this was at the time that I was just, piano. And I actually went to go visit, and I was like, no, no, it's not what I envisioned, it's not what I thought it would be. So I scratched that off. And I, grew a little older. I was in about middle school, and I found out about Berkeley, and it's right and home, Boston.
Right.
So I fell in love with the school. I went to go visit it, and I just saw there's just so much like freedom as artists. You write, you perform, you learn, and it's such an amazing school. So I I would always be talking about Berkeley, like, oh, I want to go to Berkeley. And all my guidance counselors were like, oh, like it's time to apply to a college. Where do you want to go? And I was like, I just want Berkeley. That's it, just Berkeley. And they were like, you sure? Like, I don't, just that's it. I just want to go to Berkeley. That's all.
Right.
And it's so funny because I remember it so well. I didn't tell anyone. I went to audition. I didn't even tell my mom.
Wow.
I showed up, and I did it, and I came home, and my mom was like, "So what'd you do today?" I said, "I auditioned for Berkeley," and she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I did it. I just got it out of the way." And we went to this ceremony at the VPC. They were having like this big bash, and that's like they were just having celebrations. And so there was a segment that they were like, "Oh, we want to award this, people entering to the school who got a scholarship." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I want to see who got in."
Right.
And my name comes up
Yeah.
the first because I'm Amaral. So and it was
Right.
dead silent in the auditorium. My mom stood up. She's like, "Yeah!" We both were just so excited. So that was probably one of the happiest moments because Berkeley has always been a dream of mine, and I'm so fortunate to have got in with the scholarship. Now, currently, I did take this semester off because we've been very fortunate to receive many opportunities to travel and play. And with school, I like to have all my focus on it, so I didn't want to go to school and then be gone and come back. I don't think that would have been a good idea. So
Right.
I thought, I'll focus on this and then I'll be back in September. So Berkeley is definitely a great school, and I'm so thankful to be able to attend it.
That is awesome. And you got the scholarship with that audition, and that's fantastic. Now, you auditioned with your voice or with the bass or both?
So I auditioned with voice, so I'm a voice principal. I only study voice. I love to sing, so I definitely wanted to have my focus on that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You do a fine job with that bass
Thank you.
instrument too.
Thank
It's,
you.
it's so cool seeing. I love that. You know, seeing that big chunky bass. You know, around a small pretty girl like yourself. It's just
Oh, thank you.
it's just so cool. It's so rock and roll. I
Thank
love
you so much. Thank you.
it. What is the ultimate goal with the Berklee education? Are you interested in the production side of things, maybe, or like studio sessions, jingles, that kind of thing, commercial work? Or is it just performance?
For sure. So I'm a performance major. That has always been the goal for me because I love performing. That's always been my favorite is, go on stage with my bass and my band. But I also love songwriting. So right now I'm currently just a performance major, but I do love taking songwriting courses because I love writing songs. I try to write as much as I can because it's definitely a way of me expressing myself and because I've never been very good at expressing myself or telling people how I feel, but I always have turned to music for communication
Uh,
and when I write music, I just hope that people can listen to it because it's happened to me, listen to it and say, hey, I can relate to that, and it becomes a part of their listening catalog. Because that's happened to me. You could go through something, hear a song, and think, hey, I like the way that they're saying things. I'm gonna keep listening to it. So I hope that someday my music can do that to people as well.
I'm sure it will. Music is the great communicator for sure, universal language, and yeah, that Midnight Rider was communicating with me for sure. I can't wait to see what the other ones do. Now, what is the songwriting process for you guys? Are all you guys collaborating together, or does one person bring in most of the bulk of the work, or how does that work?
For sure. So, Midnight Rider and a lot of the other stuff that we're recording, I did a lot of the production and the lyrics behind it. The way it works for me is I get all the music down and I go through my journal. I actually have it here. Oh, you get to see how it works. Look
All
at you.
right.
So this is my journal. I have lyrics and lyrics all in here, and I just write. And when I get the music done, I look through it. I see okay, this is something that could work with it. The vibe is heavy. Like these are some cool words that could work. Recently, though, my guitar player and I wrote a song. So that was like the first time I collaborated with someone, and it was so much fun. We
Great.
recently wrote a song. It's definitely gonna be on the EP. I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's called "Ruined Myself." It's definitely a heavy blues tune, so that I think you'll like that one. It's like Midnight Riders.
All right. All
For
right.
sure. So that's definitely how the process goes. Like about for our live set, it's about mostly originals. Most of those I had written and everything, but I was talking to my guitar player. I'm like, let's collaborate, let's do something. So we wrote something, and that was totally a lot of fun. So I definitely see myself collaborating more in the future.
Great, great. What inspires you to write? I see the Dio poster there.
Yeah.
One of my idols, one of many idols. Um, he did the dragons and fairies and that mystical world. That's what drove a lot of his music.
Mhm.
Um, as opposed to the human condition, emotion on the human side. What inspires you to write? What is most of your material about thematically?
For sure. So, I write a lot about personal experiences, past experiences. I read about people. Like, fun fact, Midnight Rider is for my grandpa. So he's a motorcycle guy. He's big in the Harley Davidson,
Nice.
and I have a lot of respect for my grandpa, and I look up to him, and I always wanted to do something for him. So I wrote him a song, because you got trouble, you call when you need. That's who I call when I'm in trouble. And he's like it's small stuff like that. Sometimes I write about things that have happened, thoughts that I have. I'm like, I'm feeling this way. I'm gonna write it down, and I'll probably maybe use it for a song. And it does come in handy when I get those tracks done. I look through my book. How was I feeling this day? Oh, that works. I'll put that in the song.
Right.
And it just helps to have material. So that's definitely what inspires me. I take my book with me everywhere. Sometimes when I travel, I see something cool. I don't know, like the way the sky looks. I can describe how that looks to me, and I'll probably keep it in my journal for a song.
Nice, nice. Your grandpa's one lucky guy, I gotta tell you. Uh, he's got the song, and he's got, he's got to be so proud
Thank
to
you.
see what you've done. Yeah,
He's really my best friend. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. He's always supported me, and he always told me to follow my dreams. So I'll give him a quick shout out because I know he's probably
that's
gonna listen.
that's awesome. That is just great. Uh, Tell me about the logo. Now, I listen to Midnite Rider, and I get kind of it's a fun rockin' tune. And then I saw the logo, and it's more deal like, it's got the Baphomet figure, and it's a little bit dark, and the inverted pentacle kind of thing, and it's got that Motley Crue-ish but darker thing happening. How did you get, what do you want from like the overall vision of the band, of the aesthetic of the band in that kind of thing? And how did the whole Baphomet figure and the pentacle come about?
For sure. So I definitely get this asked a lot. So I've always had with the I don't have it here, but even with my bass I have a pentacle, and I've always just been drawn to the image. It's same thing with like Motley Crue. Like I'm a big Motley Crue fan, and
Mhm.
I would see them, and I'm like, they're a rock band, but they have such right there. I just got the picture to a
Yeah.
Motley Crue, but they have the symbolism, and I think of it as like a shock factor. They're like, oh my God, and
Yeah.
they're just these cool guys, making rock music. Baphomet to me, I think he looked like a cool dude. He's got his nails holding on to it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, seems like a friendly dude.
Yeah,
You know?
yours isn't the gothic realistic looking one. It's kind of cartoony, and
For
I found that a lot of fun. uh
Yeah.
because I love that kind of symbolism, skulls and pentagrams and pentacles, and that kind of thing is just, it's got that powerful look.
For
But you made it a kind of fun, with the cartoonish look. Yeah.
sure. I've just always been interested, with history and, mythology and all, religious studies. It's just something that I've always had an interest in. And I just thought it's funny because like believe it or not, I'm like a soft-spoken person, I'm very
Mhm.
quiet, and I was like, that'd be funny, just have like this amazing symbol with like pentacles. They probably think I'm tough, and then they come up to me, I'm like, hi, how are you? But no, I've always wanted to incorporate stuff that I like to learn about. So I've always had an interest in reading about the history of it. And personally, I just think it looked really cool. I was like, that would be a
Mhm.
cool symbol.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
Cool.
that's why I
Cool.
chose it.
I like it. I like it. I
Awesome.
definitely do. Um, Tell me about this great video that I see. It's you singing "Love of My Life" with Brian May. That is incredible. I had a chance to talk with Brian May, not in an interview, but after a show, and we talked for a long time, and he hung out. And he was just one of the sweetest human beings. Um, Tell me about that. Tell me how you hooked up with him and chose that song, and how that came about.
For sure. So, more backstory. I love Queen. Queen to me is probably the best rock band. And like people hear me do Zeppelin, they think I love Zeppelin. I love Zeppelin, don't get me wrong, but like
Hmm?
Queen to me is the band that defines rock, in my opinion. It's a
Yeah.
bold statement, but
Yep.
Freddie Mercury has always been a hero to me. As a songwriter, I have so much respect for the band because, it wasn't just Freddie Mercury, it was Brian May, Roger
Right.
Taylor, John Deacon. They were the super band. They did it all. So I've always had a big passion for Queen. And my favorite song by them is Love of My Life because of the lyrics and Freddie Mercury was the type of person to, write about experiences, people in his life. And, that to me is one of the best examples of songwriting in rock history is Love of My Life. So I had to pick that one. That was during the pandemic. And, I like to say it was a type of magic. It was quite a fun thing to shoot, especially because during the pandemic, we were all at home and
Right.
I was making videos and stuff, and I was able to get that video going, and it was awesome. It was like a dream come true. And I had my queen jacket on at the I made sure to turn around, show my bedazzle. I got the approval. So
That that is really cool. I
thank
mean,
you.
that was great. That Brian did that and everything, and it was great seeing you together, and it was just and it's such a poignant song, and just it's gorgeous, and you did such a fine job with it. It's
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
and you could see it on his face too. That he appreciated your talent for sure, no
Thank
doubt.
you so much. Thank you.
Is there a dream gig for you? You're in Boston. I talk to East Coasters all the time, and it's Madison Square Garden. That's
Yeah.
the thing. A headline Madison Square, play in Madison Square Garden. What is it for you? Is there a venue or a lineup that somebody that you'd really love to play with?
Oh, that's a good one. For years it was the Whiskey a Go Go. That was my
Hmm?
dream
And you
because
did that, didn't you?
I was able, I know that was, that's a dream
Awesome.
come true. For years, I love reading, and I love reading biographies, and all the biographies I would read of like all my heroes, like did play the whiskey. I was like, I want to
Yep.
do that. And now we've been so fortunate to have so many shows there. So that was it for a while. Right now, I don't know, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Madison Square
There you
Garden.
go.
So I can add on to the roster of people.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's a special place, no doubt, no
Mhm,
doubt.
for sure.
Um, if you could sit down with somebody, coffee and conversation, anybody in the world,
Okay.
who would that be?
Ah, that's a good question. Me, ah, I have to. Oh my goodness, this is tough. You know what? I would go. We talked about if is it dead or alive? Can they be
Alive.
alive? Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Um, Oh, I'll pick one of my favorite guitarists of all time. You'd think I'd say bass player, but I have a lot of respect for guitar players. Maybe Jimmy Page, because I have a
Yeah.
lot of respect for him. He definitely.
He's done a lot in his career, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's one of those musicians that I think has done everything. Like he's been in so many projects, and
Right.
written probably one of the most iconic music in the rock world. So I would definitely love to ask him questions about what inspired him, and definitely
Yeah.
that's my answer.
Fantastic, fantastic. Are you looking to tour? You've been across the United States, and you've done these shows. You're putting together an album. Yeah, am I going to see you in Chicago?
So definitely that's the goal is to do a tour. My goal is to jump on a tour bus and just go nonstop all around the US, and
Awesome.
hopefully one day maybe even the world, We take it, definitely one of my biggest dreams is to do a tour. So we'll work on it.
Fantastic. Now, do you have a release date or any a roundabout release date for the EP?
So definitely a beginning of either end of spring or beginning of summer. It's around that time because we're
Great.
actually recording very, very soon. It shouldn't take too long to get. We're solid on all the songs because we want to get it out there. We're like, all right, we're gonna be there, prepared, record, get it done, and then I keep everything on my social media. I post all the updates, so there'll be a date very soon. And I myself am just so excited because it's been a dream of mine to release a collection of music. So it's going to be an exciting time.
It's exciting. It really is. It's cool. Do you have a label? Are you releasing it independently? How's that working out?
For sure. So we're just releasing it independently as of
Hmm?
now. So That's how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it's a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah,
That is one great thing. You can get your name out there and your music out there to everybody. It's not as difficult as it used to be.
for
So,
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
that's great. Yeah, how can we find you online? Your social media. Where do people have to look to find you?
For sure. So if you're interested in the band, all you have to look up is BANDINC, Band Inc. Facebook, BAND, comma INC. We put a little comma and try to be a little unique.
Yes, I like it.
And if you're on Instagram, you can follow us BAND underscore INC, Band Inc. If you're interested in following me, I have a long username. I apologize, but I'll spell it out for you. It's Giuliana Lucia Amaral. So it's
Mhm.
GiulianaLuciaAmaral. So if you'd like to follow, that's all my social medias. You can find me anywhere with that name. And if you want to see when all the new music is coming out, you can follow any page. I post on all the pages. And yeah, that's where I put everything, where I travel, where we play. I try to be as active on there as possible.
And it's great. We get all those updates, and you are active on there, and it's great to see you and doing what you love to do and doing it so well. We'll have all the links in the comments below, in the info below, and yeah, please come back and see us when the EP is out, and we'll talk about the whole thing. I can't wait to talk about more music with you.
Absolutely, yes, please. I'd love to come back. It would be awesome to sit down with you and talk about all the new stuff coming out.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Juliana, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you too. Thank you
Okay.
so much for having me again.
You are very welcome. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye bye.